Imagine a world where secrecy reigns supreme, where clandestine gatherings shroud themselves in mystery, and where the line between devotion and fanaticism blurs into obscurity.
And couldn't be happier about what we're about to do.
It's within its shadowy domain that we find ourselves confronted with the enigmatic and often disturbing reality of cult gatherings. From the chilling discovery of mummified remains in cult leader Amy Carlson's compound, to the shocking arrest of a Spanish cult leader brewing a potion purportedly capable of mind control. Each story goes through the depths of human depravity and the insidious allure of charismatic leaders.
Nobody. I'm nobody.
In St. Louis, Missouri, the desperate pleas of two mothers echo as they seek the return of their daughters and grandchildren, who are feared to have joined a cult led by Rashad Jamal, a convicted child molester with a disturbing influence.
Grand Rising Cosmic Family. First, let me start by saying peace to the gods and goddesses of planet Kai. Peace meaning positive energy always creates elevation. This has been brought to you by the ancestors first, then the University of Cosmic Intelligence, Real Upper Rich. Now we rise. I leave as I come. One, Ashe.
Rashad Jamal, once a rising rapper, transformed into a self-styled spiritual guru, attracting thousands online with his esoteric and often controversial teachings.
The true name of winner is called Sub-Zero Technology. They made fake clouds, and then they put ice crystals in the clouds, and then they used these fake 5G towers to activate these fake ice crystals in these clouds. So this is how they be looking, right? We've seen this before, y'all, and never thought nothing of it. All them birds on the power line, you don't be thinking of it, but they sitting there actually charging up. All right, these are your government drones. They fly all over and they record surveillance.
Despite being incarcerated for severe offenses, including child molestation and cruelty, Jamal continues to exert control over his followers, vehemently denying any cult activities and framing his imprisonment as a misunderstanding of his spiritual intentions. 5 months ago, Michaela Wickerson, Jeriel German, and their young children vanished, last seen near St. Louis Lambert International Airport. The local police believe they fell under Jamal's sway, lured into a dangerous web spun by his charismatic persona. As the investigation unfolds, the community and the families of the missing struggle with the terrifying reality of Jamal's reach, hoping for a breakthrough that will bring their loved ones back.
If you scared to die for what you believe in, that's okay, but I'm not. So get the f out of my way.
When Arizona deputies pulled over a trailer after reports of human fingers seen from the inside, they couldn't have predicted the horrifying scene they were about to uncover. Newly released body cam footage from August 2022 shows a tense traffic stop involving Samuel Bateman, a self-proclaimed prophet and polygamous cult leader. The video captures deputies as they approach the trailer and confront Bateman, who defiantly tells them, "I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to tell you anything."
Come over here, please. I'm going to get that knife off you, sir, okay? Any other weapons on you? No. Okay. Come over here, please. We're out here because there is supposed to be people back there.
How many other people in the truck? How many other people are in the truck? Well, I just want to know who's inside the truck right now, so that way I know who else we're dealing with here. Or else I'm going to call everybody out.
As you can see, it's a pretty serious deal here, sir. What is your name?
Samuel.
Samuel what?
Do I have to pay my name?
I'm asking for your name.
I don't have to pay, right? Sir. Yes, sir.
Sir,
Do I have to pay my name? Yes, sir. 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 Yes, sir.
What is your name? What is your date of birth, sir?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Turn it off on me.
Put your hands behind your
Put your
back.
hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back.
You are being detained until you identify yourself.
Do I have to tell my name?
Yes, you have to identify yourself. You are being detained for a crime.
What I'm looking at, after discussing that with that sergeant, so.
I'll just say right now, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Go ahead, see.
There was fingers. At that intersection, there was fingers out the door. So there's people in the trailer.
It sounds like someone's in there.
Despite his resistance, the officers proceed to open the trailer, revealing 3 young girls ages 11 to 14, living in deplorable conditions with makeshift seats, a porta potty, a couch, blankets, food, and a stroller.
This is the police! We're going to be opening the door! I want your hands empty and above your head! If you do not, you will suffer the consequences! Again, this is the police!
Pull down the handle.
Where are the hands? Let's see the hands!
Let's get that other door open.
There was hands sticking out of the top of the trailer! There's hands sticking out of the top of the trailer earlier. Let's see them! Let's see your hands! They're in front.
Behind the curtain.
Okay, keep your hands up for me. Go and walk out towards me, okay? Try not to slip, all right? Just keep walking. Is there anybody else inside the trailer? No? Perfect.
A deputy explains the gravity of their discovery to Bateman and several women identified as his wives. We were getting calls about hands sticking out of a vehicle, out of the trailer. That is why we are contacting you guys, because it's unsafe for children to be riding in a trailer. Following this encounter, Bateman was detained and later faced federal and state charges including kidnapping and tampering with evidence, to which he pleaded not guilty. While walking down the street and filming, someone accidentally stumbled upon something extremely creepy.
Oh my God.
Out of nowhere, a bunch of people in red robes, holding candles and walking in a group, catch the camera's eye. It totally looks like some secret cult meeting happening right here on the street. The whole scene fell straight out of a horror movie, giving anyone who sees it some serious chills. Just a regular night turned into an unexpected peek into some eerie cult vibes. When Alex Jones released his legendary footage of the cremation of care ritual from the Bohemian Grove, it unveiled a hidden world where some of the most powerful men gather each year, tucked away among the redwoods in Monte Rio, California. The Bohemian Grove has been the site of this ancient Canaanite Luciferian ritual since 1881. Captured on video, you see a group of men, all part of an elite club, participating in a ceremony with a massive 40-foot owl looming in the background. This owl, famously voiced for years by broadcaster Walter Cronkite, watches over the cremation of care, a ritual meant to symbolize the shedding of worries and responsibilities.
When will ye learn that me ye cannot slay? Year after year ye burn me in this grove, lifting your puny shouts of triumph to the stars. But when again ye turn your faces to the marketplace, do ye not find me waiting as a devil. Fools! Fools! Fools to dream, conquer care!
Every July, this 2,700-acre campground hosts an exclusive 2-week encampment attended by business leaders, U.S. presidents, senior media executives, and other influential figures. Not just a place for dark rituals, the Grove is also known for historic events, like the planning meeting for the Manhattan Project in 1942, which led to the development of the atomic bomb. Even President Richard Nixon reminisced about his lakeside speech there in 1967, a pivotal moment he credited on his path to the presidency. When a news network accidentally broadcast footage of a satanic ritual, viewers and the on-air presenter were caught completely off guard. The startling video, which popped up during a routine segment, showed a group of people in a dimly lit room, dressed in robes and surrounded by candles and red lights, reverently praying and performing a ritual dedicated to Satan.
The government announced the proposed legislation today. It's in part due to the stabbing of a police dog during an arrest in Brisbane last year. Recent outages have...
The camera quickly cut back to the studio where the presenter's face said it all. Shocked and bewildered, mirroring the reaction of viewers at home. Later, the presenter took to Twitter to explain the clip was mistakenly aired due to a system error and was actually intended for a segment scheduled later that night. One could say it was a hell of a mistake. When you think you've seen it all on YouTube, along comes an ad that really pushes the envelope. Imagine casually browsing through videos when suddenly a man appears on your screen, eagerly advertising a cult. Yeah, you heard that right. A cult. With unnerving eyes and an unsettling amount of enthusiasm, he pitches, "We're cult members. Welcome to the good cult."
Well, we're simply that. A good cult. And quite frankly, I don't think that we're just a good cult. I think we're the best cult. And that's not because of me, that's because of you. Our members, our cult members. You know, people think we have some pretty wild ideas. Their imagination is overactive. But here at Good Cult, we realize the world isn't limited to what we can see and what we can touch, but what we can dream. And that's what we do. We dream. Imagine what you can do. All we want is more creativity, more conviction, more passion, more compassion.
His excitement and the way his eyes widen as he talks about the good cult are enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. His speech goes on with a creepy sort of invitation. All you have to do is be you, and that's all we can ever ask for.
And you don't have to do anything special to join us. You don't have to be initiated. All you have to do is be you. And that's all we can ever ask for. But you should be proud. Welcome to Good Cult.
He tries to assure viewers that while cults usually get a bad rap, you should feel proud to be part of this one. Talk about a marketing strategy that's more cult classic horror than feel-good community.
That's okay with you, okay?
Klan members marched around a cross they had constructed, wrapped in burlap, and then doused with diesel fuel about a half-mile deep in the woods.
In the dense jungles of Guyana, a horrifying chapter unfolded as Jim Jones, the charismatic leader of the People's Temple, orchestrated one of the deadliest mass murder suicides in history, claiming the lives of 909 followers, including 300 children, in a single tragic day. Jim Jones started the People's Temple in Indianapolis during the 1950s. He was a charismatic leader who advocated against racism, attracting a large following, especially from the African American community. By 1965, he had moved his congregation to Northern California, first settling in Ukiah and later in San Francisco. During the 1970s, allegations of financial fraud, physical abuse, and child mistreatment surfaced against the church, which led to increasing scrutiny from the media. In an attempt to escape growing criticism, Jones, who was becoming increasingly paranoid and was also struggling with drug addiction, convinced his congregation to relocate to Guyana, promising a socialist utopia. They established Jonestown, but life there was far from the paradise he had promised. Residents worked long hours under harsh conditions, faced severe punishments for dissent, and lived under constant surveillance, with their communications censored and movements restricted. The situation reached a boiling point when U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan visited Jonestown in November 1978, following concerns raised by former members and relatives of current members.
People play games, friend. They lie. What can I do about lies? Are you people going to leave us? I just beg you, please.
The visit ended in tragedy when Jones, panicked by defections from his group, ordered an attack on Ryan and his delegation, resulting in Ryan's death along with 4 others as they attempted to leave. The following day, Jones orchestrated a final, devastating act. He gathered his followers and ordered them to participate in what he called a revolutionary act of syringes were used to administer a lethal mixture of cyanide, sedatives, and fruit juice to the children, followed by the adults under the watch of armed guards. When Guyanese authorities arrived at the site, they were met with a harrowing scene. Hundreds of bodies, many in embraces, strewn across the commune. A small number of residents managed to flee into the jungle, and several dozen, including Jones's sons, survived as they were away from Jonestown at the time. In a cozy-looking video, we see the 12 Tribes cult members gathered around the dinner table, singing, laughing, and playing the guitar. It seems like a pretty fun night, right? But this clip is just the glossy cover of a much darker book. The 12 Tribes might give off hippie vibes with their back to the basics, Christian lifestyle, and organic farms. And they even run some quaint cafes that seem totally harmless. However, when you dig a bit deeper, you start to see the cracks in the facade. This group has a sketchy side, rejecting modern medicine, embracing troubling teachings on race and sexuality, and even breaking child labor laws. The group is well known for its stringent community rules. Members live communally in properties owned by the group, sharing resources and responsibilities. Adults and children alike participate in long hours of labor, which has led to allegations of child labor violations. The group's stance against modern medicine has resulted in numerous health issues among members, sometimes even leading to death. Members are encouraged to cut ties with the outside world, including giving up their personal possessions and sometimes even changing their names to signify their new life in the community. Their teachings also include deeply problematic views on race and sexuality. For example, they've described slavery as a marvelous opportunity for Black people and declared that homosexuals deserve death, according to their interpretation of biblical law. These extreme views have led to significant criticism and have categorized them as a hate group by some observers. So, while the video shows a group of people having a great time, it's not showing the full story. It's a classic case of looks can be deceiving, reminding us to peek behind the curtain and question what's really going on. Picture this. A night filled with mystery and intrigue, shrouded in the secrecy of a legendary secret society. That's exactly what viewers across America witnessed when footage of the Skull and Bones initiation ritual hit the airwaves. Thanks to the investigative prowess of Ron Rosenbaum, 68, and some brave Yale students, we got a peek behind the curtain of this clandestine organization. The scene is set in the eerie courtyard of the Skull and Bones tomb, where cloaked figures gather under the cover of darkness. As the camera pans, we see participants lying on the steps, while others donning cloaks perform what can only be described as macabre theatrics.
New York Observer investigative reporter Ron Rosenbaum accompanied a team of Yale students who shot these pictures 9 days ago. Rosenbaum's curiosity about Skull and Bones was permanently piqued when, as a classmate of George W. Bush, he lived right next to the tomb, the group's heavily fortified home. From their perch, Rosenbaum and his cohorts taped the tomb's courtyard. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull.
Shouts of "Kiss the Skull" echo through the night, as if straight out of a horror movie. But wait, there's more. In the background, a distorted voice adds to the chilling atmosphere, making it seem like something out of a conspiracy theorist's wildest dreams. However, not everyone was convinced by the footage. Stephen McDonald, 73, a Skull and Bones alumni member, expressed disbelief, suggesting that the events may have been staged. Well, if that's the case, someone deserves an Oscar for their performance. In the end, whether it was a genuine initiation or a theatrical production, one thing's for sure: the Skull and Bones Society continues to capture the imagination of the public. Who knows what other secrets lie within those hallowed halls? Can you believe this? Alberto and Maria visit the morgue on Christmas Eve to pay respect to their 1-year-old son, Cyril, only to find his tiny coffin empty.
Depósito a traer flores a nuestro bebé. Se corrió la tapa cuando acariciamos así, nuestro bebé no está. Ya. Nuestro bebé no está. O sea, responsable acá no sé qué, si era municipalidad, no sé qué.
It seems like some really disturbing stuff is going down in the small town of Otamendi, Argentina. Alberto and Maria were told that there were no available plots, so they agreed to store Cyro's remains in a locked room on the grounds until space opened up. But when they went to visit him, he was gone, vanished into thin air like a ghost in the night. The case gets even creepier. The parents' lawyer claims they've got evidence pointing to a satanic cult lurking in the shadows of Otamendi. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't your run-of-the-mill mystery. It's straight out of a Stephen King novel. Also, Dr. Ana Maria Caro, the leading prosecutor on the case, has her work cut out for her as authorities scour local farms and the surrounding countryside in search of Cyro's missing body. So, picture this. A Christian group decides to shine a spotlight on what they think is a radical Christian cult. Sounds unreal, right? Well, buckle up, because it's all too real. In the heart of East Texas, we've got the Wells Church, led by the self-proclaimed elder Jacob Gardner. Now, Gardner and his crew are on a mission, convinced they're practicing the true form of Christianity. They're not shy about it either. Gardner boldly claims that just by stepping outside and being a Christian, he's asking for trouble. Talk about taking the term street preacher to a whole new level.
Okay, the video we're about to show you is it's the Wells Church in Texas, and I invited them out to preach with us at Stephen F. Austin. And they went around and they took us aside, and then they said, they were asking Kirsten about her salvation. Hey, are you really saved? You know, I'm concerned about this. Basically, they were trying to get us into their cult. So this video is the showdown between the Jedites and the Wells Church.
What is that? You're not listening.
Are you trying to convert him?
Yes.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yes.
How would walk off? They're trying to convert you.
He's perfectly fine as a Christian unless he doesn't join their church.
I would not look him in the eye.
He's perfectly fine as you know you're saved, you know you're born again.
This is grievous to us.
But they're going to convince you that you are not born again unless you join their church.
This is grievous to us. I'm
that
in a
is a
car
cult.
right now. You're tipping back in the chair and just offering continuous lighthearted comments. This is a very serious matter. There's separation. There's men claiming to be Christians over here, men claiming to be Christians over here, and there's an utter breach. There's slander. There's sin taking place.
So you better go join their church so you can be righteous like them instead of joining
Your own
Jesus
doctrine
Christ.
is condemning.
Their job right now is to convince you that you're not born again and you haven't been granted true repentance, so that you'll join their church and they can teach you how to repent properly. And she's never allowed to smile again. Remember that. I'm not joking. She will be rebuked for it.
Do you guys smile?
To their women.
When
their
our
women.
hearts are heavy by the burden of the Holy Ghost.
When do you guys smile?
To their women.
And there's charity.
It's their women.
No, can you name specific, when the last time you smiled?
And there's charity. The scripture says that charity rejoiceth not in iniquity, rejoiceth in the truth. We know that we pass from death into life because we love.
But here's where things take a bizarre turn. Gardner's brothers-in-arms, Richard Trudeau and Mark de Rouville, recently found themselves in hot water after causing a ruckus at a Baptist church in New York. And get this, their crime? Interrupting services to deliver a fiery sermon about sin and impending judgment day. Yeah, they're like the preachers you see on TV, but with a side of vigilante justice. But wait, it gets even crazier. On a mission to save souls, Trudeau and de Rouville stumble upon a pregnant woman in a neighboring town. And what do? Well, they do what any self-respecting doomsday preacher would do. They start preaching about sin and hellfire. Talk about an unconventional baby shower. Now, I don't know about you, but it sounds like Gardner and his crew are taking their religious fervor to a whole new level. Let's just hope they don't start knocking on doors with pamphlets anytime soon. After all, nobody wants a religious sermon with their morning coffee.
God's got you in this situation here, and they want to undo that. If you look at that guy over there, just look at his face. He's full of the devil.
In a bizarre and chilling video, a woman confesses to stabbing her own mother, Laurie Nichols, multiple times, believing her to be the Antichrist.
The satanic cult in this city has been casting satanic spells on me for 4 days. I'm exhausted. I came home, I found out that my mom was the ringleader and she was trying to kill my daughter. I had to kill her. She was going to kill both of us. She was so powerful. I had no idea. I had no idea that my mother was that powerful.
Katie Elizabeth Nichols, 31, allegedly entered her mother's apartment in West Knox County and launched a brutal attack. Laurie recounted how Katie climbed on top of her, attempted to gag her with a sock, and even strangled her until she lost consciousness.
When I left, she was still breathing.
Well, that's good.
I stabbed her 3 times, and she should have died. She was still breathing, and I don't know what happened to her afterwards, and I don't know where they took her or what exactly happened, but she was the Antichrist. She did not die. We went in my car, and we ended up in a little rural area, and we just waited for the sign that it was safe to come back. She had a symbolic representations of my death, my daughter's death, every nuclear explosion that was supposed to happen that's not going to now, because all of the satanic cult has been rounded up and killed now.
The assault left Laurie with stab wounds on her chest, abdomen, and neck. It's a shocking and disturbing incident that defies comprehension. One can only imagine the horror and confusion surrounding such an ordeal. In a tragic and disturbing video, a 74-year-old woman loses her life at the hands of her own 3 children in Ayacucho. Aurelia Condori, the eldest of the 3 daughters, led the ritual in which, along with her 2 brothers, they sacrificed the mother who gave them life, claiming she was possessed at the time of the murder. The police have already apprehended all 3 siblings. It's a shocking and heart-wrenching tale that defies belief. How can a mother's own children commit such a heinous act? The very thought sends shivers down the spine. One can only imagine the anguish and horror that must have consumed the poor woman in her final moments. And let's not forget the tragic irony. The very people who should have protected her were the ones responsible for her untimely demise. Get ready to witness one of the most bizarre and controversial rituals in South India. In this footage, women believed to be possessed by evil spirits line up to receive vicious whiplashes in an attempt to rid them of these malevolent forces. It's like something straight out of a movie, but believe it or not, it's a real event that takes place during the annual Vijayadashami Day Festival at the Sri Achappan Temple in Tamil Nadu. Picture this. Male priests decked out in traditional attire, wielding whips and striking nearly 3,000 women in a bid to cure them of illness and malign influences. Now, here's the kicker. Despite the violence of the ritual, many attendees willingly participate, believing the lashings will help heal or resolve their issues. In the end, whether you believe in the power of this ritual or not, one thing's for sure, it's definitely not your average day at the temple. In this mysterious video, we're treated to a bizarre dance ritual allegedly performed at the Freemasons meeting with none other than the Rothschilds, the secretive family rumored to control trillions of dollars in assets. Now, picture the scene. A woman, center stage, dancing away in front of 3 men lounging in armchairs, surrounded by eerie symbols reminiscent of a secret society gathering. As the video plays out, viewers are left scratching their heads, wondering what exactly is going on behind closed doors at these Freemasons meetings. Is it a harmless dance party, or is there something more sinister at play? Some are even claiming that it's a satanic ritual unfolding before our eyes. Despite the ominous atmosphere and cryptic symbols, we're left with more questions than answers. Details are scarce, and the secrecy surrounding Freemasons meetings only adds fuel to the fire of speculation. In the end, whether you believe it's a harmless dance-off or a diabolical plot orchestrated by shadowy entities, one thing's for sure. This video is enough to make anyone do a double take. So, next time you're invited to a Freemasons gathering, maybe bring your dance shoes, just in case you need to bust out some moves to summon the spirits. Newly surfaced video footage captures the harrowing moment Utah authorities rescued 2 young girls from the clutches of a sinister doomsday cult led by their own fathers.
Cedar 1 of you,
over
15.
here, is it that one?
Who's in here? Correction, I need command. Is she okay? Are you doing okay in there? Okay, you want to come out here?
Picture this. Police stumble upon the girls, ages 7 and 4, stuffed inside blue water barrels on a desolate property used by the Knights of the Crystal Blade cult. As if the sight of the frightened girls wasn't chilling enough, there was even a loaded gun nearby, adding to the sense of danger and desperation. But the horror doesn't end there. When asked about their 2 sisters, the girls suggest they're also being held captive in containers.
Who's gone? Where's your sister? What's her name? You're Where's the other 2 girls?
I'm doing the storage container.
Which one?
The red one.
One of these?
No. A storage container very far away.
But fear not, because our heroes in uniform swoop in to save the day, coaxing these shivering girls into a warm vehicle and ensuring their safety.
Cover up with your blankie.
And as for the cult leaders responsible for this nightmare, well, let's just say they're getting a one-way ticket to prison, serving lengthy sentences for unspeakable crimes against their own children. The realm of cult rituals and strange beliefs, one televangelist opulent lifestyle takes the spotlight in a bizarre and tense interview. Kenneth Copeland, known for his luxurious digs and private jets, found himself in the hot seat when questioned about his lavish spending habits. Caught on camera by Inside Edition, Copeland's discomfort is palpable as reporter Lisa Guerrero probes him about his exorbitant lifestyle funded by donations from his followers.
We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing.
Well, let me just ask you a really simple question. A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher to live a life of luxury and to fly around in private jets. What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We have brought over 100, let's see, the latest figures just came out, 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let me give you another example. Last May, I was scheduled for Lagos, Nigeria. That's a long ways. I had a week off, and I was scheduled for Peru. And I prayed about it, and I thought, I'm not missing that dedication in Jerusalem. Without the airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere. Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
Things take an awkward turn when Copeland defends his preference for private jets, claiming he doesn't want to fly with demons. A remark that raises more than a few eyebrows.
Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Can you explain what you meant by that term then? Just explain, because it's really simple. You said you didn't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. What did you mean?
Well, let me ask you.
Do you think that people that fly commercial are demons?
If you'll give me a chance to talk, sweetheart, I'll explain this to you. But it's a biblical thing. It's a spiritual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with people. People, I love people. Jesus loves people. But people get pushed in alcohol. Do you think that's a good place for a preacher to be and prepare to go preach to a lot of people? When somebody in there is dragging some woman down an aisle, it made me so mad to see that on television. I wanted to punch the guy out myself. I can't be doing that while I'm getting ready to preach.
But Guerrero isn't one to back down, skillfully navigating the interview with pointed questions and unwavering persistence. Despite Copeland's attempts to deflect and justify his spending, Guerrero remains steadfast, challenging his beliefs and practices.
And you have some fancy clothes. I mean, for a pastor, you are living a life of luxury. You've got great homes, you've got great planes, you drive in limos.
I'm a very wealthy man.
You're a very wealthy man.
Yes.
Yeah. And some people would say that is it appreciated?
May I add something to that? My wealth doesn't come from offerings alone.
Because you sell things, books and DVDs.
Yes. And I have a lot of natural gas on our property. Didn't know that, did you, babe?
Now I do.
Yeah, you do. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, I guess. It's wonderful for you. So the final question is this. To those critics that say that a preacher should not be living a life of luxury, what is your response to that?
They're wrong.
As the interview unfolds, tensions rise, culminating in a heated exchange where Copeland aggressively denies comparing people to demons.
It's your grandfathers that we're standing on their shoulders. They held up and they stood for it. Glory to God. But when you go back to the Bible, it's full of wealth. And it's full of miracles and signs and wonders. And it's full of goodness. And it's full of meanness. It's just full of hell on earth. Those are the demons, not the people.
It's a showdown worthy of the big screen, with Guerrero emerging as the unsung hero, unflappable in the face of Copeland's hostility. In the end, while Copeland may have his private jets and mansions, it's Guerrero's tenacity and sharp interviewing skills that steal the show. And as for Copeland, well, let's just say he may want to reconsider his choice of words and flights. In the world of cults and controversies, it seems that televangelists aren't immune to the scrutiny of the spotlight. In a bizarre and unsettling video, viewers are confronted with the haunting words of Charles Manson, a notorious cult leader whose legacy is steeped in darkness. As Manson speaks, there's an eerie calmness in his demeanor, almost as if he revels in the chaos and fear he's capable of inciting. But who is Charles Manson? He's not just any ordinary tramp. He's the mastermind behind one of the most infamous cults in history. With his charismatic charm and twisted ideology, Manson led a group of followers known as the Manson family down a path of murder and mayhem in the late 1960s. The chilling quote captures Manson's enigmatic persona perfectly, hitting at the dangerous allure he held over his disciples.
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.
Nobody. I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight razor if you get too close to me.
As the video unfolds, viewers are left to ponder the depths of human depravity and the sinister allure of cult rituals. So, the next time someone claims to be nothing more than a humble wanderer, it might be wise to take a step back and reassess their true intentions. After all, You never know when a tramp might turn out to be something far more sinister.
Listen to what you've been told, okay? Yeah.
Police video footage has surfaced, revealing the arrest of a cult leader and his partner in Sydney over alleged historical child grooming. William Cam, known as Little Pebble, and his partner Sandra Matheson, also known as Sandra Costelia, were apprehended following a 6-month investigation into allegations of grooming a woman for sexual purposes since she was 6 years old. The allegations are nothing short of horrifying, with Cam allegedly sending letters and gifts to the victim and even making phone calls. The woman, now 19, bravely came forward to report the 13-year-old ordeal to authorities, prompting the arrest of the accused.
Police.
Still, listen to what you've been told, okay? Yeah.
According to police, Cam and Matheson purportedly informed the victim that she was chosen to procreate with Cam and help establish a new cult. Detectives raided multiple locations, including a unit in Sydney's CBD and the headquarters of the religious group led by Cam. It takes immense courage for victims to come forward, and their bravery should be commended. So, let's continue to shine a light on these dark corners of society and work towards ensuring the safety and well-being of all individuals, free from exploitation and harm. Police in Zimbabwe have captured an alleged cult leader, Ismael Chokuongoera, suspected of child abuse and forced marriages. The arrest followed a raid on a compound outside of Harare, where more than 250 children were found reportedly being exploited and abused. Chokuongoera, who goes by the name Prophet Ismael, was charged after authorities discovered the disturbing conditions in which the children were kept. The compound, resembling a factory, produced various goods for sale, while the sect also engaged in agricultural activities. The cult's followers, clad in long white robes, fervently supported their leader, with one woman declaring, "Come rain, come thunder, we will follow our God." However, police described the situation as one of exploitation, with children subjected to manual labor and denied basic rights. In a haunting glimpse into the final moments of the Heaven's Gate cult, members recorded farewell messages before embarking on a tragic mass. This horrifying footage reveals the depths of their devotion to the twisted beliefs propagated by leaders Marshall Herff Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles.
I just want to say how thankful I am to Doe and T for helping me and taking me under their wing, and all my classmates have been so great to me.
My thoughts in these last hours are only of joy and wonder at the thought of going home.
Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? Since I've been in the class, I've learned the answers to all of those.
And couldn't be happier about what we're about to do.
This world has become so corrupt.
So corrupt.
As long as I exist, I have free will.
And I am doing this of my own free will. My own free will.
Heaven's Gate, with its bizarre fusion of Christianity and UFOlogy, drew hundreds of followers who were convinced they could transform into immortal extraterrestrial beings. Applewhite, who proclaimed himself the second coming of Jesus, instilled a sense of impending doom, convincing his followers that the end of times was near. As members donned matching shoes and prepared for their final exit, They left behind all these farewell videos, encapsulating the fervor and delusion that consumed them. In a bizarre turn of events, a former traffic cop turned cult leader claiming to be the reincarnation of Jesus was nabbed by Russian authorities in a dramatic operation. Sergei Torop, or Vissarion as he's known among his devoted followers, has been running his sect nestled deep in Siberia for the past 3 decades.
Сейчас можно будет смело сказать, что 80% населения Земли имеют серьезное психическое отклонение. Но эти люди имеют оружие на руках, а это растет дальше.
Helicopters and masked officers swooped down on their isolated communities, putting an end to their peculiar blend of religious fervor and environmentalism. Torop, with his flowing gray hair and beard, was escorted away, along with 2 of his closest aides. This cult wasn't your run-of-the-mill Sunday service group. They had some pretty peculiar rules. Veganism was a must. Monetary exchange was a no-go inside their commune, and they even swapped out Christmas for a birthday celebration on January 14th, Vissarion's big day. But it seems their leader's divine intervention ran out when Russian authorities decided to crash their party. Now, the fate of their followers hangs in the balance. It's like the ultimate game of spiritual musical chairs, except this time, someone's actually getting arrested. Bodycam footage from a police raid on the Love House 1 cult house in Moffat, Colorado has surfaced, revealing a chilling discovery. As officers moved through the house, they stumbled upon the mummified remains of cult leader Amy Carlson, also known as Mother God.
Wow, they painted her. That's just, I think, decomp mummification. That's what I'm guessing at this point.
Wrapped in a sleeping bag from REI and adorned with Christmas lights, Carlson's body lay in a room filled with rainbow decorations and stuffed animals. It was like stumbling into a twisted holiday horror movie set. The Saguenay County Sheriff's Department released the footage, showing the surreal scene that awaited the officers. As they navigated through the house, the absurdity of the decor contrasted starkly with the grim reality of their discovery. It's a sobering reminder that reality can often be stranger than fiction. Who knew that behind the facade of festive lights and colorful decor lurks such a macabre secret? And here's a thought. If you ever feel like decorating for the holidays is too much of a chore, just remember the story. At least you're not decorating a room with mummified remains. Spanish police have arrested a cult leader who thought he could achieve total transcendence by doping his followers with a bizarre homemade elixir. Jose Manuel Canovas, 50, was busted in Murcia, Spain after authorities raided his massive 24-acre compound, complete with secret labs straight out of a sci-fi movie. Canovas, head of the Mahashandi Foundation, allegedly brewed up a potion he called purified mercury to control his followers' minds. But his attempts at mind control went south when some of his devotees started showing signs of mercury poisoning. Turns out, his elixir wasn't exactly the elixir of life. During the raid, police found a whopping 400 pounds of mercury stashed away on the property. And if that wasn't enough, traces of the toxic metal were found in the septic tanks. Looks like Canovas was aiming for total transcendence straight into the Twilight Zone. Next time someone offers you a drink labeled purified mercury, maybe just stick to water. Footage has emerged of a South Korean pastor going full Hulk mode on her followers, but instead of smashing, she's slapping and beating them. Pastor Shin Ok-ju led her flock of 400 from South Korea all the way to Fiji, allegedly using them as free labor. Talk about a bumpy ride.
도대체 이 흉악한 놈이 어떻게 죽이고 가해가지고 이 미친 이런 거는 이렇게 싹 뜯더라고 미친.
In the video, Pastor Shen seems to have taken a few pages out of the WWE playbook, encouraging family members to throw down on each other. But instead of championship belts, they're handing out bruises. Shin was finally snagged by the authorities when she flew back from Seoul from her island escapade. And boy, were her wrists sore from all those handcuffs. The whole ordeal is like something out of a horror movie, but sadly, it's all too real. Let's just hope they skip the sequel. Who knew a pastor could give Hulk a run for his money?